We are live from Los Angeles, California, here at Good Morning La La Land, and I'm so excited. I'm Dr. Erin.
What's up? I'm Rob Mack.
Happy Friday, everyone. I'm Jelsin Moyer, and it's going to be a good morning, La La Land.
Yeah, you definitely don't want to miss today's show. It's all about love, relationships, sex, dating, all the above. So every Friday is hashtag Friday Feeling, and we've got some hot topics, current events. We've got an incredible guest, right?
Who is our hot guest? Right? Oh my gosh, one of my best friends, author and psychologist, Dr. Ramani Durasula, author of Should I Stay or Should I Go? Who has not asked himself that question. I know I have too many times.
I think I'll read this book after the show.
Immediately. I would not waste any time on that, yes.
Good morning, Dr. Ramani. We're so excited to have you on the show today.
Good morning. Thank you for having me. Fridays are always a good love talk day, so it's good. Yeah.
We love to find out how our guests start their day in LA. So what is your morning routine?
My morning routine on a healthy morning is I actually wake up very early. I wake up a little before 5. And because I get emails from all over the world, it's a great time to sort of make sure that there's no fires burning. And then I get all of that done. And then I always drink green tea every morning. And then I deal with the chaos of my children. And that's honestly when things start going south, and then it's commutes and driving, and I'm on the road about 2 to 3 hours a day. So,
So productive. It's mind-blowing. I've had a glimpse into that life, and it's amazing the way in which she is able to do all of that, be a mom, be a professor, psychologist, so gracefully, so effortlessly. It's mind-blowing, actually.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that.
Yeah.
But but I do lose some mindfulness in all of that, which is a shame. But it's hard. There's lots of balls juggling. So I do start my day just sort of putting out fires and then go from there.
Well, thank you for putting out those fires and being with us here
My
this
pleasure.
morning. We're excited to get back there in the studio with you for an interview later in the show.
Thank you.
Awesome.
Oh, I'm so excited to hear everything.
So many questions, and I've known her for so long.
Right?
The questions I just get more and more questions as time goes on.
I love Fridays. I think Fridays are my favorite out of all of it, right?
Yeah, well, I get to look forward to the weekend. You know, hopefully you're working less. Not always the case with us. But
Day of Venus. Friday is a day of Venus. That's why traditionally it's the dating day of
love day.
That's right. So what's up, you guys? What did you guys do yesterday?
Jasmine's
got to check in. I want to hear all the gossip because I got some good ones.
Thursdays are my personal health and wellness days. So I went to acupuncture, and funnily enough, he said he put a point in my foot, and he goes, "Oh, you need a prince." And I thought,
a prince.
How do you know that by my foot, by the way? I don't know what my big toe is saying about me right now, but I don't know if I'm okay with that. And it's so funny because then I thought about Erin saying, I always think about now when I'm going about my day, the story I'm going to tell later on the show. And I just thought that was so funny because he was obviously bringing about the conversation of love and needing that or needing more of that in my life, or just feeling that and accepting that whatever my big toe said about it.
The big toe was like, I need love.
I need love. Yeah, prick me again, please.
I've had such interesting experiences with acupuncture, but most of mine haven't been positive, surprisingly enough.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I had. In fact, the one time that I remember most sort of clearly was lying down on a table. Guy seemed pretty nice. Of course, I did it because I was in a relationship. My girlfriend was like, you have to do this, you know? So you're just like, I'd rather just do it and not have an argument about it. So I did it.
That's
and then,
hilarious.
but it was an electrical version. Oh my gosh, yes. And it sent electrical signals throughout my entire body.
Yeah.
And I remember thinking, if this is acupuncture, this is not for me. Not, right? But yes.
Interesting.
Yeah, we
super
might need to
stressful.
dial the electrocution thing
it's
back and
dial
then
that-
take you for some traditional
I've made
acupuncture.
mistakes in my life. Lots of mistakes. I'm not sure I
All
deserve.
in the name of love,
Electrocuted,
Rob.
yes.
Right?
All in
Yeah.
the
Do
name
it
of
for
love.
in the name of love. You know, get electrically
Such a
shocked.
trap that is. Such a trap.
At little S&M,
Such a
apparently
trap.
she was in S&M.
Shock therapy. What did you do last night, Erin?
Oh my gosh, you guys, I have to tell the story because it was one of those days where I was like, I actually have a good story. Amazing. So I don't know if you guys believe in serendipity, but it was a totally serendipitous day. So there's actually science that backs up in quantum physics that there's an observer effect, meaning that what we focus on could actually begin to not only manifest, or we begin to see it more than often. They say, say for example, you want to own a red VW bug car, and all of a sudden everywhere you go you start seeing red VW cars everywhere. Well, yesterday was kind of like that for me because we've been in this conversation of talk shows, morning shows, all that. So yesterday, first of all, I went up to Calabasas. I had a great meeting with Emily Raber and Bertreau, and it's all like the history around talk shows. So I was listening to his podcast on the way up, being interviewed, and he was talking about Sally Jesse Raphael. Do you remember all those shows like Phil Donahue and Maury and just the whole history around talk shows? And I was thinking, this has been a big influence in my life, all this stuff.
Yeah.
So then last night, my best friend had a great kind of thing happen at work at Sony Pictures, and we thought, let's go out and celebrate. So we go up to Sunset Tower Restaurant.
Nice.
We sit down, and I don't know if you guys have been up there, but it is so LA, if you will, hashtag so LA. And you sit, all the tables are like super close. The next table to us is literally like this far apart from us. And we're sitting down, order a little food, blah, blah, and all of a sudden I'm like, that's Regis Philbin and Joy, his wife, sitting.
He's the OG right there.
Right?
Regis Philbin's the OG.
And I'm like, this did not just happen. I'm like, that is way too ironic. So I'm sitting there, and I know, like, I don't want to be bothered at a nice dinner. I know they don't want to be bothered, but I'm like, this is too ironic, really.
Yeah.
So we're sitting there for 2 hours next to each other, and we start kind of like badgering back and forth, kind of, because you're like literally having dinner with somebody that's sitting next to you, And I ordered a salad for dinner because it was a little later in the night, and then when Joy was ordering some dessert, she goes, well, I feel really guilty because she ordered a salad. So when this huge sundae came, and she kind of like pretended was joking about it. She put her napkin over the sundae, and she was like eating it separate from us. And it was really funny. We just kind of played around a little bit with them last night.
So wild when you have those experiences, right? What do you normally feel from that? Like, do you feel that you're on your path?
I feel like this is my sign, okay?
Yeah.
So it means that I'm in the zone. And there's another term, it's called zemblanity, and that means the opposite of serendipity. That means when kind of negative things are coming at you like they are.
Murphy's Law.
It's like Murphy's Law, right? So we have the law and we can use it for good. And when we're in that zone, it's like everything shows up. It's just like ease, grace, whatever.
All green lights.
And it's like all signs in the universe, and you're like, okay, what's happening? And then there's signs when you know you're not in the zone. It's like every wall, every traffic, everything comes up, right?
So it's like the difference between LA on a regular day and LA on Christmas Day.
Right?
Like, all green lights, no traffic.
You're dancing to the
Cruising
street.
through.
You're like, I'm in the zone, serendipity.
Right, exactly.
Rob, is that what you call being in the flow?
Yes, for me, that's being in
right?
the flow. And to be honest with you, for me, I have to focus on the feeling experience of being in the flow, because if I take score too soon to see what's happening in my life, it takes me out of the flow, right? So the whole key is to be in the flow emotionally and energetically, and let what shows up show up.
Right?
Yeah.
I have a hard time getting in the flow. I don't think I wake up in the flow.
No.
So I'm certainly a person who has to have her little morning routine, have her coffee, and then I turn on the music and try and like get motivated. To your point, I'm getting up a little earlier, thinking positively, saying my daily affirmations, just to kind of like create the flow, because I don't think I'm generally flowing.
Yeah.
But I'm certainly working on that.
I mean, other than that time of the month, I don't know if I'm always flowing. Just kidding.
Aaron!
It is an interesting.
I mean, I guess, you just have to say it.
It is an interesting idea. I mean, you see, while it's a science, it's also an art, because if you look at athletes sometimes are in the flow, they're in the zone.
Totally.
They're hitting 13, 14 shots in a row. And so, but that same athlete, be a superstar athlete.
So speaking
Maybe
of,
not experience
like,
all day.
you're always in the flow.
Oh, yeah, you
You're
like this?
always
You
on
like this?
point with the
Yeah.
clothes. And
like that?
and didn't someone ask about it?
Yeah, actually, we just got a message from Sherry in Michigan, and she wants to know what kind of jacket you're wearing today.
Wow. Yeah, I love this jacket. It's a Rob Mack special jacket. It's a
Rob
special
Mack
jacket. Yeah, it's like a
special?
brand. No, it's actually Nick Graham. It's a Nick Graham jacket.
So I want to know what's the pocket
Yeah.
thing called?
A pocket square.
And is that like, I mean, there's got to be like YouTube, like how to crunch that exactly.
Yeah,
because that's way too perfectly.
There's like 2 or 3 different ways, probably more than that, to
Can
fold
you
it.
show us?
Yeah, I mean, so there's a couple of ways. You can do a simple like tri-fold or something, or just a regular square fold like this. You stick it in, it kind of looks like just
Yeah.
one strip, you know.
I have to laugh though watching Rob do this because he comes into the studio and he refolds his pocket square about 12 times.
Yeah, no,
He
I'm
does.
like,
I don't see that. Where am
yeah, I'm used to being a prop. I don't usually talk, so I just, that's what I do.
Aaron's busy going over the notes, and we're going to talk about Rob's folding his pocket square, refolding his
Yeah,
pocket square,
it's-
I
refolding
never
his pocket
noticed
square.
Yeah, it's the OCD in me.
Mine is like I'm completely here. in the
Yeah.
morning.
But the other way, the easy way is you just simply do one of these jobs and then you grab it around here and it sort of, you just kind of crunch it up. I mean, you don't want to be,
That's like a genius. Okay,
Yeah,
that's genius.
Effortless.
the key is to, yeah, you want it to be, to sort of look and feel effortless, but
I mean,
saying that, it
the
takes
outfits
25
are on
times.
point. So what
Oh, thank
shirt do you have on?
I'm so excited. Today I'm
Yeah,
wearing
love that.
Trey Jean, and it's a fashion house here in LA that I've been involved with for the past couple of years, and they've been so great and so generous and said, why don't you wear this shirt on your show today? And I said, don't mind if I do.
I love
And that's
that.
one of the great opportunities we have with the show and Good Morning La La Land is that not only are we airing live Monday through Friday, but we're creating a platform for businesses in the community
Right.
to share and support and just really be a part of that celebration, what cool people are doing, and
Absolutely.
life, love, fashion.
Yeah. I like how all the design people are going to Jesslyn. She's like this model tall. Like, I have like pulling out like clothes that have been in my closet forever.
But those clothes are like 5-star,
Yeah.
it's top notch.
I
Let's
had
be
to
honest.
ask Jesslyn. I'm like, I don't even know what this dress is. I've had it forever, so it's
No, it's
Ann Taylor,
perfect.
right?
Anne Klein.
Anne Klein, there
Anne
you go.
Klein. No, Anne Klein is so timeless and classic. I want to bring up an interesting article I just read, though, in Us Weekly about fashion. So coming up this award season, all of the women have come together and they've decided to wear black to stand in unity against sexual harassment. I thought that was really powerful.
Nice.
Yeah,
Beautiful.
it is powerful.
Beautiful. So I think we're supposed to wrap up this segment, and when we come back, we're going to talk about Friday feeling. We're going to talk about dating, love, and relationships.
Feels.
How to deal with like things like arguments and upsets during the holidays, and kind of take a look at a preview of what the third segment with interview about some of these books and things like that.
D's in the house. Absolutely. I can't wait
So
to talk to you.
stay tuned. We will be right back.
Everyone, and welcome to Odiva TV. And right now we're in the Focus TV studios in Hollywood.
Happy Wednesday, Empoweristas. It's Alex Worley.
Hey guys, I'm Amy Paffrath.
And I'm Justin Walter.
And this is What's Good, the show that's dedicated to positive, uplifting stories from all over the world.
Hi, this is Alyssa Goodman Show, and I am Alyssa Goodman.
You're watching Beige Bay TV. It's fitness expert and your Beige Bay, Edwina Chia.
Hey, Dr. Erin here, teaching universal law and spiritual truth.
Hey everyone, it's Michelle Gillette with Focus TV, and this is the Spotlight Series.
Hey LA, I'm Gwen Lane with the LA Girl.
Hey everybody, Terry here, host of the interview series Success Beyond Beauty.
Hi, I'm Fern Olivia, and welcome to Sensual Intelligence TV.
Hi, I'm Janet Gunn here with Focus TV for my segment of Fearless Females.
Welcome back to Good Morning La La Land. It's Friday, and we have hashtag Friday Feeling,
We
don't we,
sure
Rob?
do. And we've got a special guest today, Dr. Ramani Dharasula, author of Should I Stay or Should I Go? Surviving a Relationship with a Narcissist. I'm sure none of us have had experiences with that.
Never.
So, Ramani, what is it that inspired you to write this fantastic book? Is there something special that happened in your life, in the life of your friends or clients?
I don't think I call it special. I call it really tragic. I was watching client after client come in and sort of share the same story, whether it was dating, marriage, their long-term committed relationship, of this sense that they were in a relationship with somebody where it was sort of chronically invalidating, negating. There was no there. And I think for a minute there was, like maybe for the first 4 to 6 weeks, maybe even 2 months. And they'd be 10 years in and they were still holding on to that first 2 months. And I'm saying, there's nothing here. And I saw that happen over and over again. And I realized we were dealing with narcissism. People didn't understand that word. And I thought my poor clients were writing notes during the sessions. And I thought, well, let's just put this all in a book. And who knew that I wrote this book, and then this epidemic has sort of overtaken our world. And so we need this book more than ever. And I don't know that anyone really ever successfully, fully survives one of these relationships. I think there are always battle scars. So I want to minimize those battle scars.
Wow, just love that. And the opportunity, of course, here in LA is greater than ever for helping people deal with those kinds of problems. Of course, Dr. DeRossela in Focus magazine,
yes,
an article
the
here.
Focus family.
Right,
yes,
absolutely.
I remember,
And Dr. DeRossela, you're not only the author of Should I Stay or Should I Go, but you're also the author of You Are Why You Eat.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
So can you tell us a little bit about that book?
That was my first book, and it was, there's so many books on weight loss. Eat this, don't eat that, do this, drink this, eat kale, eat it if it comes out of the ground, eat if it grows on virgin soil, all of that. And what I realized is that most people just don't listen to their bodies. We need a lot less food than you think. And so if you could honor your body, and when you're full, just stop eating, then a lot of people actually can lose weight quite successfully. It's this sense of eating on other people's schedules, eating the way other people want you to. So it really became more of a manifesto on authenticity or listening to yourself that then extended to the table, where a lot of people feel like they have to listen to other people. Think of the most classic example. Aren't you going to finish everything on your plate? And then you do, not because you're hungry, but because somebody else is telling you to.
Wow.
That's another 500 calories.
So powerful, so powerful. We've had conversations about that, being true to yourself and listening to your intuition.
Absolutely. It's so interesting how what you said affects me even in my relationships that I've had. When you eat, what you eat. It'll be really interesting to dive more into that with you later in the show. Thanks, Dr. Romney.
Thank you.
So right. Well, I mean, I can say I've got some serious battle wounds that I disclose sometimes throughout different stuff. Definitely was in a relationship with a major narcissist. Intense. But we all have those to extent. There's a gradient. We can all be narcissists at some point, right?
Yeah,
I guess.
for sure. Yeah, and it just reinforces the truth that it's really great to be in a healthy relationship, right? It's really great to be up to healthy dating and healthy.
Sure.
Yeah,
A
You
must.
know, that's such an interesting point, though, Rob, because I don't think a lot of people understand what a healthy relationship is supposed to be, is supposed to feel like.
Yeah, absolutely. It's such a great question. I think that's one for probably Dr. Romney. I know for me, it's supposed to feel good for the most part, right? We know that much. We know that should feel good.
I remember someone breaking it down. It's just like, it's dysfunctional. That means that it doesn't work. It works or it doesn't work.
Right.
Like, it really comes down to being that simple.
Yes.
Does your life work with this person or does it not work?
Well, there's always work in relationships, though, right? So you have to put in the work to make it work.
Absolutely. I mean, I think that's one of the things that people find frustrating, right? I know I can find it frustrating because you're like, I'm already working at my work. I don't want to also work at my romantic life, my social life. I have to work at my body. I have to work at my health. It can become exhausting. I do think that there's some kind of happy medium where you put the effort and energy, and I prefer those words instead, maybe energy. You put the energy in, but it doesn't feel like hard work. It feels like something that's joyful.
Yeah. So speaking of that, dealing with upsets and arguments with whether it be family members or someone that you're dating or your husband or wife or whoever that is, because relationships, obviously there's different dynamics in love, sex, and relationship, but there's very similar dynamics also in that how we relate. I love the idea of having our relate ability, how you relate to things.
I love that.
So like, during the holidays, a lot of times people are under a lot more stress. They have expectations and whatever else. What do you guys think? Like, how do you relate? Like, say you go home, say you're with a family member or a friend this holiday or your loved one and something happens. What tips do you guys use to go, okay, I'm going to come from a place of not being a mirror from somebody, but I'm going to come from a place of being the cause of what I want to create in my relationship.
Yeah, don't even go visit in the first place. Just save your money.
Stay in LA.
Yeah, save your money.
Be here, it's fun.
Relax, meditate on your own, hide out.
Right.
What do you do, Jeslyn, around the holidays in order to maintain healthy relationships?
That's interesting because it's something that I'm still really learning how to not mirror and how to not let the emotions of the people around me affect me emotionally or take things personally. That's really hard for me. Somebody's upset about something and I think, oh geez, it's my fault, or if I would have done X, Y, and Z, they wouldn't be so mad, or if I was A, B, and C, that would fix the situation. So really it's been a lesson not taking things personally.
Right.
I sit back, I observe, I make sure I have like a paradigm shift, if you will, and just No, observing from LA.
Paradigm shift.
Jess is a cool cat, though.
Right?
She's an incredible woman, honestly. You really are.
Your Friday feels.
I have a girl crush on Jeslyn, okay? Let's get it straight. No.
Yeah, it's such a good point, Jeslyn. I think it's easy to get caught up, and Dr. DeVosla, sort of spoke to that a little, like getting caught up in the expectations that other people have for you, or getting caught up in the emotions that they're experiencing. I remember as a kid, always feeling very stressed out and anxious, and sometimes very angry. And I always thought that was me, that those were my emotions. I was feeling that, and it's not that it wasn't, but emotions are so contagious. So when you're in an environment, you're in space where people tend to be very anxious or stressed out or angry, it's going to affect you very quickly and very deeply. Particularly the more empathetic you are, or the more sensitive you are. So you've got to take time away. You just have to take time away.
I feel like you're wildly empathetic.
Yeah, it's I appreciate that. I take that as the highest compliment. Honestly, I do, and it's also been the greatest challenge in my life.
Right.
I mean, without question. It's part of the reason that I sometimes have to escape people completely.
Right. So one of my mentors gave me a good little kind of like a drill to do if I ever got upset, and I've used it over and over again. So I just want to give that real quick. So he said, first of all, just if you're upset, breathe, take 10 deep breaths, like go for a little walk, get out of the situation, take 10 deep breaths, and then begin to become fascinated with other people. Like if someone's upsetting you, like how they're using their energy, how they're creating their world, like become actually fascinated instead of taking it personal, like become actually like almost like it's in, not to become cold or whatever, but curious, like, wow, this is what they're creating. Like, okay, I'm not going to judge it. I'm going to become kind of fascinated by it. And then fascinated why I become upset, like the meaning that I put around it and stuff like that. So I think it's more of a curiosity thing. And when you come into that space, it can be more like a game of the day to just kind of, be curious about people and what they're creating for themselves.
Absolutely. I love that, Erin. That's such a good point. And that is one of the things I think has been helpful to me is that I've been surrounded by people that are curious about what you're feeling. How are you feeling? What do you think makes you feel that way? And so I had an experience like that as a kid, kind of growing up. And as I've gotten older, I can really, really deeply appreciate that.
Right,
yeah, that's
right.
a great point.
And then just getting clear, like, why is it that I want someone to be different than they are? That's me. That's my stuff going on, right?
Yes. Yeah. I mean, I think that's the greatest realization ever is to realize that you own what you feel. You own that. No matter what anyone else has done, valid, whether it's valid or justified or not, you being angry, upset, whatever it is, while you should completely experience that, feelings are there to be experienced, you sort of have to take responsibility for how you feel and own that. And from there, you get your power back and you can do something about it. Right. So if you don't own it and you project it, you can't do anything about it.
Sometimes I just take that feeling right out the door.
That's a good move. That's a good move.
Yeah, right.
That's the best way to own
holidays, if you need a break from your family or friends or colleagues, whatever, take a minute, escape the situation, be with yourself, get fascinated with the other people. You don't have to stay in that. It's okay to still take some personal time for yourself, especially during this time of year.
For sure.
Absolutely.
So what do you say we actually go back to the expert, because I think she probably knows a lot of this. So why don't you take us out?
All right. So we're going to talk to Dr. Ramani Dravasula in a little bit. We'll be right back after the break.
Yes.
Yeah.
So excited. Friday.
Dr. Erin here, Doctor of Divinity, teaching universal laws and spiritual truth. And I am thrilled to announce the new show on Focus Television right here in West Hollywood, Los Angeles, California. Join us weekly as I interview incredible people, celebrities to your next door neighbor, you name it, your girlfriend. We're going to dive into such topics as love and relationships, health and vitality, business and money, and creative expression. And I'm thrilled to just go on this awakening journey with you as we tap into meditation, visioning processes, intuition, and all the above. So stay tuned as we do this together.
welcome back. Talking today to Dr. Davosela, one of my best friends, clinical psychologist and author of Should I Stay or Should I Go? Oh my gosh, I'm so happy that you came.
I know.
Thanks
I know.
so much.
This sort of feels so familiar to me. I mean, I've spent endless hours sitting on sofas and talking.
Literally true. Literally
So
true.
how did that start
Yes.
for you? Tell
Yeah.
me about.
That's its own great story. Someone
Yeah.
Rob was once involved with is one of my close friends, and she said, "Wow, you guys think a lot alike."
Yeah.
And so
You write us really long. She said. Remember, she said. You both write really long emails to each other.
Oh, really?
Telling me,
Yes.
yeah, she's like, you should just talk to each other.
Oh, that's
hilarious.
What ended up happening was a very unique, one of the most unique experiences of my life, and which is why, I think Rob and I will, stay friends to the grave, because I was going through a divorce at the time, and he's not a narcissist actually. It's things happen in the natural course of a marriage, and so, I needed a friend to just say, be a sounding board, and what Rob would come back to the consistent message of be true to yourself, and in a very crystalline way. And at that point in your life, you don't trust anyone with your story. And here he was an utter stranger. We'd never met. The only sort of curator of this was this mutual friend who we both really, trusted and adored. And so we kept staying in touch, and and then got through it. And then he had a book signing for Happiness from the Inside Out here at Bodhi Tree, which I don't even think exists anymore in West
I didn't know
Hollywood.
he was signing there. Cool.
And I came, and it was a December evening, and it was almost like, he walked out, and I'm like, that's my best friend. Like, it was as much as a soulmate. Like, you're like, and it was like being a little kid, like on the first day of first grade, you're like, that's going to be my best friend. And it was literally, we fell into this familiar conversation. Your mom was there, who I also consider someone incredibly dear to me, his entire family, in fact. And such started a friendship. And it was, to tell you the storms we've weathered together, it was really that sense. I mean, it's just that, again, Innie was.
Right.
My best
When
friend.
was that? What year do you think that was?
Yeah.
2008.
Your memories.
10 years.
Wow.
It's amazing.
It is amazing.
Yeah.
It's really amazing. He's been there for my daughters. He's dear to my children. And I think any friend that becomes sacred to your children, that's, and very much to this day, it's, not a week goes by. How's Rob?
Yeah,
Mama?
yeah.
He's just fine.
Yep.
So
sweetheart.
incredible.
Same.
Yeah.
So easy though, being that to Rom, because she's that is what you are. You're the epitome of that. We often have conversations about the importance of empathy, which we were talking about a little bit earlier.
Yeah.
And you're just better than anyone I know. You sort of really embody that fully.
Well, I think that what we learned, thank you for that, is that we learned that there's a certain, you can find a muse in a friend. And I would say both of our writing really benefited tremendously from the other. There was not a page in that book where I would run things by him. Like,
Wow.
what do you think of this? What do you think
He's
of
a
that?
great writer. I did
Yes,
it
he's
last
a great
night with
writer
him.
too. Yep. I'll read something and I'll call him. I'll read a psychological study, and that's where you're rare, Rob. You can actually participate in the science too. I'll send him an empirical article.
Oh, nice.
What do you think of this? And so, I mean, I think it's that, in that sense of, I think for all of your viewers, that in your friendships, you have those friends that there's this phenomenon called the Michelangelo phenomenon, even in romantic relationships, where one person sees in you a potential so great that you love them so much that you push yourself to lift yourself to that potential.
I love
Everyone
that.
should have that in their intimate
I
relationships, and
love
I have that
Absolutely.
in our friendship together.
That's
Yeah.
like a whole book of itself
Yes,
on
it
dating
is.
and love and
Yeah.
relationships, right?
So how does someone do that, Rom? So if somebody does it, they're not, this is all new to them. How do they do that? Where do they start?
One of the things I see that's most problematic, especially in romantic relationships, is that people are threatened by the success of their partner because the catastrophic fear is they're going to pack up and leave. That's what I see as the primitive fear. Because most people feel like they're not good enough. So if that other person succeeds, then you're really not going to be good enough. And I also think that because so many people harbor so much insecurity, there is the inability to see that gift in the other. So that idea of telling people, because we often voice our insecurities in everything we can do, or we do. I can't do that, I don't know. And then we do that for our partners. So to the degree you can say, do it. Go for it. We got this. But everyone's so afraid. What if we can't pay the rent? What if we can't pay the bills? And yes, those are real fears, but they can get over-consuming. And if you can look at someone and say, make the Thanksgiving dinner. What's the worst that's going to happen? We eat pizza and we'll have some fun.
It's almost like that Michelangelo thing is the opposite of the narcissist. Like the narcissist is something that just totally takes you down to the ground.
Well, and
the Michelangelo effect is someone who raises you up to the. I love that.
And
that's a
part
great
of this
distinction.
whole idea of relational authenticity.
Wow.
Can it be both?
Can it be both what?
Can it be both?
Can it like swing?
Yeah, can it swing? Could you have the Michelangelo effect with somebody who is a narcissist?
No.
Oh, good.
No.
That saves me. Yeah.
Because sometimes that can be a mind trick for people. Because I've even been in relationships. I have friends in relationships that you think, oh, but he builds me up, and then you look and you're thinking,
and then
oh,
he breaks you down.
He broke you down to rebuild you back up.
What the narcissist does is they build that person up in a way that serves them. So I want the hot girlfriend, so you're gonna look at you, you're so hot, but because it's serving their ends. I want to be seen out in town with the hot chick versus you're so beautiful. I want you to put that out to the world. And let's face it, where you see relational authenticity really play out, it's not on superficial traits, but the much deeper stuff. You have this dream, go for it. You want to write? Write. You want to start a business? Start a business. What's the worst thing that's going to happen? If it fails, so there's no such thing as failure if you tried. Wow. So that's relational authenticity. And since the narcissist typically can't ever have their partner succeed more than them, then they're never going to really exalt their partner. Or if their partner is succeeding, they're going to do backdoor things to either undermine them, or they'll do things like cheat on them or do other bad behaviors because they feel so threatened by their partner's success.
Having people watch in on a Friday, maybe they're in dating or beginning. How will people see the first signs? What are the big flags for people?
That's everything, and
like we want to know before.
We have to check out the book to get that info.
I've got 31 red flags in there.
31.
31 red flags. Like it's like Baskin and Robbins.
Yeah.
31 flavors of narcissism. But it's the red flags are there. The red flags are there. It can be something as little as the person who can't stow the phone away for that long. Unless you're the chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, you don't need to be on your phone that often. It's the person that's very rude to a wait person or a greeter at a restaurant. It's the person who drives angry and is cursing everyone as they drive and cutting people off. The signs are there. And this idea of that's just how he is or that's just how she is, and that's just how he or she's going to be with you.
Wow.
And so I think that those signs are there from the jump in every single narcissistic relationship I have ever unpacked with a client. They will admit it. I kind of knew by the first month, but I thought I was going to win them over.
Right. Well, I've experienced also, because I did a lot of research on it. There's a book also called The Sociopath Next Door, which is an incredible must-read for people. I highly recommend that one. I've dealt with some narcissists or borderline. I don't know where those labels fall, but people that are so charismatic that they're actually nice to every single person.
Let's talk about that.
They actually like it's a whole other level.
The two most dangerous dating words out there are charming and charismatic.
Right.
The minute people tell me they've met someone charming and charismatic, I'm like, here's my phone.
Right.
Break up now.
Right.
Done.
Yes.
Done.
It's because they're manipulating every person everywhere.
You know what? Choose the awkward person who's sort of like a little silly and doesn't quite get it right, because you know what? That's humility. But when they're that smooth and that suave, they're giving all their bandwidth to that.
Okay.
It's a dangerous trait. Charming,
Charming
charisma,
is off the
out.
list.
Done.
Charming's
Off the list. Take it off the list.
One of the things
Replace
as a
it with
woman, I
clumsy.
think we tend to listen to words. One of the hardest things for me was watch what they do instead of what they say. So how do you because you're so, my gosh, your work is, thank you so much for all your work. It's so important.
More from you
it
guys,
really
but
is.
Thank you.
So how do you deal with that when you have a client you just want to smack them, stop listening to what they say, and how do you deal with that with the client?
A lot of it is actually, instead of looking here, we look over here. I start unpacking their fantasy, because a lot of this is they're living out a narrative and a fantasy. So what I try to do is understand their happily ever after story. And then what I see is that people shove that new relationship into their narrative, and it's like putting a size.
I know that well.
Into a size 5 shoe.
I just see you in this delusional thing.
He has such a nice house, and he has this job, and both our families are from Nashville, and I'm like,
really?
On paper, he's perfect. Another thing we're going to throw away with the charm and the charisma is the paper. This idea of the relational checklist. I would like people to make a new kind of checklist, an authentic checklist, where you look at respect, mutuality, kindness, is you can wipe your butt when you're 80.
Right.
Oh,
You know?
well,
Yeah.
that's honest.
Yeah. That's it. You know, really that kind of, a person who sort of pushes away when things aren't perfect. That really the relationship is a show. That's fun for 6 weeks. And for my 6-week daters, I say go for the charm and charisma, and then put a little countdown clock on your
Fair
phone.
weather lovers.
And young people, I have some young clients in their 20s and 30s. No, 20s, 22, 23, 24 actually. They actually have breakup dates. They go in, like expiration dates on the milk, and they say we're breaking up on May 15th. And the relationship would have started in February because they know something's happening. There's a transition, there's a move. And in fact, they're following through. They're like, May 14th, it's big breakup sex, and it's goodbye.
Whoa.
One person always gets hurt, but I admire the routine and regimen.
Yeah, very clear.
About that, though,
Commitment.
That's interesting. Now, if they know in February and then they stretch something out until May.
No, it's not stretching out. It's like a plan. It's like a holiday. It's like renting an apartment in Italy.
A planned breakup?
Like a
We're
C-section.
going to have an extended separation period?
No. They're going to have a relationship. It's like I meet you in
state.
February, and I say I'm going on to something more important in May. We're going to have a lot of fun, but then on May 15th we're done, and do not call me on the 16th.
Oh, wow. Incredible. So I have a question. So when we come back, because we have to take a little break, because I think that's a big thing during the holidays,
Huge.
For sure. Like whether you're in a marriage, whether you're dating, people are going, I'm totally committed until after a relationship, or they go, I'm just going to put all relationships on the hold. Or what? How do you deal with that? And that's what I want to find out when we come back. Okay. So how to deal with, your relationships if you're thinking about staying or going, and what that looks like, and how to deal with that in a healthy way, I guess. Let's find out this brilliant woman's mind about those, the answer when we come back. Stay tuned.
All right, we're back with Dr. Devasula. We had some questions for you, of course. I think they're endless questions.
Endless questions.
Yeah,
During the holidays, we know it's a big time for people to go, let's just pretend everything's okay. Or, maybe they're going, I don't want to date during the holidays because how do you deal with the holidays and whatever? I don't know. What is your take on the holidays and upsets and relationships, and what do you think?
The holidays are like tax season for psychologists.
That's great. That's such a great
They're
one.
awful. They're awful. I mean, for me, the awful break begins the week before Thanksgiving, and it stays to Valentine's Day.
Wow.
It's a nightmare. And I think because it's all about expectations.
Right.
Things are supposed to look a certain way, and rarely in life do they. So much of it is consumptive. Am I getting the right gift? Am I doing the right this? Are we going the right place? I don't want to go here. I want to go there. And it puts a pressure on a relationship. It puts a pressure on an unhealthy relationship.
Right.
Healthy relationships actually thrive during the holidays. People are a little more flexible. There's time off, and if you use the holidays well, they become a tremendous time for gratitude. To say what's good, what's good, what should we celebrate in our life together. There's a lot good that can come, but in the unhealthy relationships, the cracks show.
Right. And so any tips for people that do have upsets? What do you recommend for someone that they're in an argument, whether it be dating, marriage, whatever? What's some tips for people?
Well, in all arguments, I mean, whether it's an argument during the holidays or not, you had actually had an interesting tip earlier in the show when you said, take that to those 10 breaths, step away for a minute. Sometimes that helps. But more than anything, focus on how much of this is your ego. How much of this is about winning an argument? Is there really a win in an argument? It's not a court of law. Okay, and I'm actually going to take umbrage with something you said, Rob. This idea of ever having to defend your feelings. Are your feelings rational? All feelings are okay. The other person may not agree with them. That becomes a conversation. But you never in a relationship get to say, you have no right to feel that way. That's gaslighting, and it's not okay.
Yeah.
So it's really about, take a minute, how much of this is ego? How much of you are how much of you is this about being upset because you're not getting your way, because you feel like things should be a certain way? Then we're back to the expectations. So really think about what's happening and really what's the end game, because that's what people lose. They want to win. They want to win. We're in a very win society, whether it's law, whether it's whatever it is, in a restaurant, there's a certain entitlement that pervades our society, and a lot of that is, I want to win. Put the win down. That's
so
all.
what if you're in a relationship with somebody who wants to win?
Good luck with that. I would say maybe this holiday season you may want to break up, but if they always want to win, then let them.
Yeah.
Let them. Because they're not really winning. Then you're sort of, if you love them and you want this thing to work and you realize the win matters to them, let them have their win. They end up becoming empty victories because they're meaningless. Say, okay, that's fine. As long as the capitulation, the giving in, doesn't mean you're giving up on something very important. You know what I'm saying? Like, you don't want it to give up on your values, your morals, but don't have the argument. If they say, we're going for dinner at 6:30 and 7:30 was better, but 6:30 works, okay, we'll go at 6:30. Why do that's the thing. It's those people get lost in those thickets because we always do it your way. The other big problem then is the quid pro quo of relationships. I did this for you, now you need to do this for me. And then they literally keep a balance sheet.
Oh, forget about it.
That's not, when you're dead, I don't know where this balance sheet goes, but I imagine there's a tax.
We burn it.
Yeah. That's why I don't know, I don't feel that it's possible to truly love someone unless inner peace is at top of your list. It has to be at the top of your list.
Yeah, it does.
I mean, it's just,
Agreed.
and that's what I mean in terms of like the justification, because I've had so many experiences where folks are angry, or I'm angry, and I'll double down on the anger, or they double down on the anger, and that doesn't go anywhere. The conversation doesn't go anywhere,
right?
And it's because we haven't made peace a top priority.
So that brings us back to our conversation a little bit earlier about someone who's charismatic, because they're actually asking behind the scenes, like, what does that mean exactly? When is somebody considered a narcissist or a sociopath kind of a person versus someone who's just really nice and kind? Like, how do you make that distinction of what's healthy or not healthy?
Remember, kindness and niceness are not charming. Okay, they're not. Kindness and niceness are things like somebody going the extra step to help you out with something. Can I help you carry that? Okay, charming feels a bit more slick. And we were talking, as you said, we were talking about sort of in the break for a moment there. Someone was joking, saying Rob's really charming, and someone who knows Rob as well as anyone, Rob's not charming.
But see, I don't think charming's bad. I would say Rob's charming.
Well, no,
but you're also from Michigan.
That's true.
So Michigan is associated with being kind.
Like this, if someone's like, "Oh, you're the most beautiful person I've ever met in my life. Oh my gosh, I can't even know how I would ever live without you. Oh my gosh, I've been waiting my whole life to meet somebody like you." Like, it's like red flags, not good.
It's too much. It's almost like it's too much. It's out of proportion. It feels instrumental, meaning it's helping them achieve a goal.
Yeah, completely.
They don't know you very well, and they're giving you these huge kinds of sweeping sorts of compliments. It feels almost, and it doesn't feel deep. Does that make sense? There's a lack of depth to the kindness. I mean, any one of us can.
Your intuition's like, they've said this before to many other people. How do I know this?
Yeah. And so that's where the charming slickness there. I almost don't like somebody who can work a room. That makes me uncomfortable.
Right? It makes me sit like, oh
makes
yeah.
me very uncomfortable. That's too charming. Whereas you want that person's good one-on-one.
And then also, I've noticed with people, if they're charming, and you can watch other relationships, what is their history around people, and have they burned a lot of bridges? Do they have relationships that have, because someone can work a room and be magic, and they can really help everyone rise, or they can manipulate a room for what they exact want and kind of let people go, right?
Like superficial compliments.
Right.
Oh my God, you look so fabulous. Love the shoes, love the legs, love the bag. That's charm. That's charm. It's superficial. There's no there. Versus the person who sees that person they haven't seen in a while and sits with them and maybe asks them about something that has meaning to them, a family member, a job, I don't know, move, whatever, and are even able to put other people at bay at that moment. They are. It's difficult because we do overvalue superficial traits. The very things that draw the fly to honey are exactly the things that will kill the fly.
Wow.
The person that's that insecure that needs all those compliments is going to love the charismatic.
And I would even say they're not even insecure. We all love hearing. It's so nice for someone to say, "You look nice," or "Isn't that lovely?" But then that lasts a minute. And honestly, my thought as someone who works with narcissists is, "What do you want?"
Right.
That's my first thought is, what do you want?
I would love to be at a party and all of a sudden just, someone's giving her all these comments. She's like, what's up?
The most fascinating thing to do ever is to either go to a movie, okay, or go to a party and just observe through her eyes.
I want to hear. I want to come
It
hang.
is everything.
What I do, I say, what do you want?
I love that.
And they're often quite put off. And I'm.
And there's no judgment in it when she does. I mean, there's no.
Yeah,
it's just not. Yes, it's so interesting.
And I think that it's you do not judge others when you stop judging yourself. And the entire focus of mindfulness is to not judge yourself, your stuff, your thoughts, your successes, your failures. Our judgment of others is merely the judgment of ourselves being projected out. So that's what a lot of that is playing out. So to your point about arguments, though, the holidays make these arguments worse because everyone's like, darn it, I'm going to have good memories of these holidays and it kills me, so don't argue with me. It really turns the volume up and it makes these arguments more stressful and more high stakes. Like, I don't want to remember Christmas dinner as the night we all fought. And so people will often get more tense. A lot of it is what you guys were talking about earlier. It's the let it go piece. Is this that important?
Nice, I love that.
Let go of the idea of the win. There is no such thing.
Hashtag let it go.
So what would you say to someone, Dr. Vassala, who is extremely empathetic, okay, and they find themselves in a relationship that feels very narcissistic, okay, and they've come to a place where they realize this very charming, charismatic person, okay, is probably not good for them. What do you say to a person like that who wants to get out? I know most of that's going to be in the book, but what would you say off the just to sort of help them get going in the right direction? Because I think it's hard for people, they feel bad even though this other person might be hurting them consistently. It's hard for them to let go of that because they feel so much responsibility for how the other person feels.
You know, it's always getting to the core of like, what is it, what do you feel bad about, okay? And then a lot of it is envisioning, is doing a lot of future work, saying, how would you feel if you 10 years in the future, you realize this is how you spent the next 10 years after us having this conversation today. Because I'll tell them, the one thing we do know about anything related to narcissism and sociopathy and all this stuff, it never changes. It's unchangeable.
Woo.
So if you don't like the climate in this room, short of you putting on a coat, this is how the weather's going to be.
I totally agree. Unfortunately, we are like running out of
Yeah,
time. And
you gotta have her back.
This is the best. I have to have you back,
Yes.
honestly.
Every day.
I'll come back.
So you're going to have to get the book to have that fully answered, right? So
Yes.
please let everyone know where they can find you, where they can get the book.
You can find me on Twitter at Dr. Ramani, D-O-C-T-O-R, Ramani, R-A-M-A-N-I. So that's a good place. We're often putting stuff up every day that I read about narcissism. And then you can get the book, because that's sort of me in a book. And so you can get that on Amazon or anywhere they sell books. It's on Kindle, it's paperback, it's hardcover, and my voicing the Audible. I have a website, but I don't keep it up. So you can go to it. It's Dr. Ramani, DOCTOR-RAMANI.com. But a great place to follow is Twitter. And then again, get the book. And then another one's coming next year. So.
Yay, wow.
I'm looking forward to that.
Busy woman, and I just want to say that I think so many people need to get real more than ever. We live in kind of a sociopathic, narcissistic culture.
That's what the book's
and
about.
so really excited to have her back and,
my
and
gosh.
follow this woman, incredible leader in this movement. So glad you could
appreciate
come
you coming.
today.
So
Yeah.
appreciate it.
So stay tuned, you guys. On the next segment, we're going to wrap it up. We're going to kind of tell you the hot topics, what we're doing, and kind of I don't know. What else are we going to do?
Play some games.
We're going to play some games.
Stay tuned.
Just
on Good
stay
Morning
tuned. Trust me,
La La
we've got some
Land.
good stuff. Okay. We'll be right back, you guys.
welcome back to Good Morning La La Land. It's hashtag Friday Feeling. What a fun show.
Super. It was deep today, though.
Oh my gosh, she goes deep.
Whoa.
Like infinitely
I'm
deep.
scared to date in this town.
It's off my list.
Yeah, that's why I just work. That's why all I do is work. It's easier. It's more straightforward.
It was certainly like so insightful.
Yeah, it's so profound. I mean, every time I talk to Dr. DeRossola, the conversations go deeper. It's like incredible to me that that's possible. It's like reading a really fantastic, like timeless book. Every single time I have more questions.
I feel like we're grateful that we have so many incredible guests.
Yeah, we've been really.
And then like all the other sponsors, Nail and Bone. Want to tell them a little bit about what's going on with that?
We have an awesome show coming up for you on Monday. I'm so excited. One of the good friends of the Focus family, Steve Weitzman, founder of Nail and Bone, which is an awesome fingernail polish line where 20% of the proceeds actually go to pet shelters and pet adoptions. It's a great product, great charity, and they've put together this really awesome video featuring some social media superstars, you guys, and they're actually going to be here at the Good Morning La La Land studio on Monday. The video features even Nia Sue, who is, 4.5 million followers, and she is one of the most darling, relatable social media superstars I have ever seen. I'm so excited to meet her.
It's incredible. These kids are so talented.
I know. I'm excited to have kids on the show and all the energy and everything else. Do we have the clip back there?
Yeah,
Are we
absolutely.
ready to watch
Let's take
What about all the times you said you had the answers? What about us? What about all the broken happy ever afters? What about us? What about all the plans that ended in disaster? What about love? What about trust? What about us? Problems that want to be solved. We are children that need to What about love? What about trust? What about us? What about us? What about us? What about
Adorable. Oh
So
my
cool.
gosh. I'm
So
so
cool.
excited to have them on our show on Monday. I think there's like 7 of them or something coming.
I don't know, but it's all about celebrating this conscious community and giving back. I'm so excited.
Yeah, that's one of my favorite things about LA is the focus on consciousness.
Right?
Honestly. Absolutely.
I don't think you can even be a brand these days without having some type of giving back to the community. People just, it's almost like part of you must have to do it, right?
Yeah, I love the idea of the sort of double bottom line. Both doing something that's good for the world and for people, and also making money at that. I think that's
Right.
fantastic.
Oh, and celebrating the animals and taking care of them. They're making changes in the community for both people and for the animals, like Nail and Bone. We're so excited. We're even going to have our little mascot Zoe here in
Yay,
studio.
we miss Zoe. She hasn't been around for a while. I can't wait to
Zoe's
get
by
her.
far the most loved
Right?
little puppy on the planet. I mean,
Right?
it's amazing, yes.
So we only have a couple minutes left, but so what's going on this weekend? You guys got a hot date?
Well,
What's going on?
we're apparently all going.
You guys have a hot date this weekend.
Are we?
Yeah.
To the California
Us too.
Science Center, right? So the Power Networking event that Saturday night. And what else do you guys have planned?
Well, my whole weekend is going around this power networking thing at the Science Center in DTLA. There are some of the most influential movers and shakers in Los Angeles going to be there.
That means you
including
guys.
us.
That means
Including us.
That's you guys.
So the big question is, what am I going to wear? No, I'm kidding.
right.
What's
It's
Rob
all
going to
about
wear?
wearing.
No, so
I'm running out of
really
stuff.
excited about that.
Right?
Yeah, absolutely.
I got to catch up on some podcasts. So I have a daily podcast, and with getting sick and losing my voice, I actually had to stop, and I haven't gotten back to it, and I feel like it's really out of integrity, but it is what it is, and so I've got to catch up on that.
You're great about that, though. You've been incredibly disciplined. I have to really commend you on that. I'm so much lazier than that. It's lucky that I show up. Like I really am. I'm like, yeah. So
No, yeah,
it's
right.
incredible.
He's so undisciplined. Look at him, right?
But
Yeah,
your
right?
discipline is pretty incredible. It really is.
So let's just talk again about Monday. We have Monday motivation. Tuesday's all about transformation, health, and wellness. Wednesday's about wealth and leadership and career and money. Thursday's thought. Thursday about mindfulness and attitude. And Friday today is all about
All about those
dating,
things.
love, and relationships. So I love Friday. Fridays, you guys. So anything else you want to add? Want to take us out, Des?
Yeah, we are here. Good Morning La La Land, Monday through Friday, live at 9 a.m. PST. We are streaming to you on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. Reach out to us. This is a show for you, LA, about LA. It's going to be a Good Morning La La Land.
Have a great weekend, you guys.